It's morphin' time. Pterodactyl.
Hi there, this is Datila with the Rangers of Wrestling, bringing you the It's Wrestling Time post show. And for tonight, I will be kicking things off with AEW Rampage. All right, so tonight's show kicked off with the three-way TNT Championship match. It was Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin versus Andrade. And this match was a great way to kick off Rampage. Let me tell you, this was such a fantastic match. I like how at the very beginning, all three men are in the ring, and then Andrade kind of just exits and leaves Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin alone in the ring. And then I like that they go after him. They don't allow that to fly at all, which I thought was so hilarious. All right, and then one of my favorite spots in this match has to be when Andrade power bombed Sammy Guevara, who was holding on to Darby Allin. That was a very cool spot. Steve saying, "Yo, it's a great triple threat." Yeah, it definitely was a great triple threat. That was a really cool spot. So then after that, we had Andrade who took off his belt and he started whacking them with it, which I thought was cool. So everybody that was friends with Darby, like Sting was banned from ringside. Everybody was basically banned from ringside. Nobody could get involved in this, which was good because I don't know. I just felt like maybe an interference would have cheapened this match. This was a really fantastic match. And then another favorite spot of mine, it was when Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin did the double chest chops to Andrade. That was pretty cool. And I liked when Sammy Guevara did the coast-to-coast drop kick to Andrade. That was a pretty cool spot. And there's this awesome sequence with Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara in the ring while Andrade was knocked out cold. I honestly thought it was over when Sammy Guevara hit the go to hell to Andrade, and then Darby Allin stole it from him and had dropped him with the coffin drop. But no. Sammy Guevara ended up retaining his title. So this is, like I said, this is a great match to kick off Rampage. So then we get a Death Triangle segment, and you have Penta Escudo, Alex Abrahantes, and Pac all in the ring. And basically he was saying how the House of Black said that the house always wins, and he said that it only wins with deception. And he says he wants them to be allowed to add some fuel to the fire. And he said that they might be down one Lucha Brother, but there's 3 of them and 3 of the House of Black. And of course, Malachi Black thinks that Alex Abrahantes is talking about himself, but he's not. Abrahantes brings out Eric Redbeard, formerly Eric Rowan of the WWE, or Joseph Redbud. Now, this is not his AEW debut. He was at he came out previously on AEW Dynamite. Eric Redbeard, he's confirmed to be All Elite. He's made an appearance once before. I don't know what took so long to sign him. I don't know. It's been like almost 2 years since his appearance, and they just now signed him. So Alex Abrahantes said that they're gonna give the House of Black an arm for an arm, an eye for an eye. And one of the things I liked was that stare down between Eric Redbeard and Brody King. They stared each other down, and then he sent Brody King over the top rope. And then Penta grabbed the security guard arms and he kind of snapped it. That poor security guard didn't do anything to deserve that. Steve Callahan saying maybe IDK. Oh, okay. I thought you were confirming that so I guess he's not confirmed yet. But good segment overall. And we found out that I think it's at the buy-in. It's going to be Penta Oscuro, Pac, and Eric Redbeard versus the House of Black. Then after that, we get a Dan Lambert and Scorpio Sky segment, who basically says that Scorpio Sky is gonna face Sammy Guevara next week, and I'm assuming that's if Sammy Guevara. Oh yeah, next week. And he says that he's going to bring Paige Van Zandt to AEW Revolution so she can sign her AEW contract. So I don't know much about Paige Van Zandt except for the fact that she is a UFC fighter. I'm not sure if she's as popular as Ronda Rousey or what her record is. But it's interesting to see what they do with her. Is she technically going to be the Ronda Rousey of AEW? And are they going to build a division around her? I know it seemed like she was going to do a storyline with Brandy, but since Brandy and Cody are no longer with AEW, I don't know where she fits into all of this. I guess you got to wait and see. So then we had Keith Lee versus JD Drake. This was not a bad match. I wasn't expecting this match to be that good, but it was. I mean, Keith Lee dropped JD Drake down, and then when he kicked out of the 2 count, poor JD Drake almost crashed into that poor Rev. And then one of the things I liked was that Keith Lee caught JD Drake. Like, he caught him. But of course, Keith Lee was victorious in this. And at the end, the wingman attack, and Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks come down to the ring, but don't do anything. They're just kind of standing there. And then Orange Cassidy comes out because he's also part of the Face of the Revolution match. And as for the stare-down between Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, and Keith Lee, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Powerhouse Hobbs and Keith Lee to go at it. That's going to be the best part of the match. Oh my god, I cannot wait for that. Like, that's the one part of the match that I'm going to be excited for. That match was good. Yeah, it was. So, I cannot wait. Oh, and then Wardlow is going to be in there too. Oh my god, it's going to be so many good spots. Then we had the Professor's 5-minute challenge. So it was Serena Deeb versus Leila Grey. Leila Grey playing cat and mouse, which only angered Serena Deeb because eventually she caught her by the ankle. And from there on, it was pretty much a squash match. You guys have to recall that you don't have to win. You just have to last a full 5 minutes. And so far, no one's been able to last a full 5 minutes with Serena Deeb. All right. So then, of course, Serena Deeb wins by submission. And then at the end, she puts a Serenity Lock on Leila Grey. And Shida comes back and attacks Serena Deeb with the kendo stick. So I guess this is reigniting their feud. So my one issue with this is I don't know where Shida went and why she went MIA. I think she went back to Japan. I'm not sure if she was injured. So now they have to reignite their feud, kind of picking up where they left off. And we should have had the blowout match because now it's like, what is Serena Deeb going to stop doing the 5-minute challenge? And then to continue her feud, and then once her feud is over, she's gonna go back to doing the 5-minute challenge. This is kind of where things get wishy-washy. Like, they should have ended the feud first and then have Serena do this 5-minute challenge. Nevertheless, I'm still curious to see how their feud ends. I say that they should have done a first ever last woman standing match. I mean, yeah, they keep doing the whole lights out thing, and that's all fine and dandy. But I think because of their nature of their rivalry, it should be a last woman standing match. Like that way they can beat each other down. And whoever doesn't make it to a count of 10 is the winner. And I think that would be a much better than the typical lights out match. But that's just me. How would you guys have this rivalry end? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. So then in the main event, we get a match of the ages. It's a Face of the Revolution qualifying match. It's Ethan Page versus Christian Cage. Hence why I said it's a match of the ages. I tried to make a joke, people. It's a battle of the Canadians. So I know Steve Callahan in the chat picked his favorite Canadian Christian. So this was a good match. Good main event. I like that Christian Cage used the top rope as a weapon. And he did the flying headbutt, which I don't know how I was feeling about that. I don't know. You know, we all know who else did the flying headbutt. But at the end, Christian Cage was victorious and Jurassic Express comes out to celebrate with him. But that's not all. The Young Bucks and Red Dragon also come out. They tease they're going to enter the ring, but they don't enter. And instead, Kyle O'Reilly takes one title, Matt Jackson takes the other title. They hold it up. Michael 10159 Wednesday. That match was awesome. Which match? And then Luchasaurus takes the titles from both of them. And, they're left standing in the ring. So, I don't know. I just feel like Jurassic Express is going to lose these tag titles. And the reason why I say that is because they've been building towards the Bucks and the Red Dragon feud. So, it only makes sense for one of those two teams to win the tag titles. Who do you guys think is winning the tag titles? Red Dragon or the Young Bucks? I say Red Dragon. Michael 10159 said that triple threat match at the beginning of the show should have been on the Revolution card. And I totally agree. So tonight's Rampage wasn't bad. It was a decent show. I will say my one criticism, and this applies to last week too, is that TNT, we should have either gotten, because last week we had Andrade versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship, which was an amazing match. That match should have been on Revolution, or even this match, the three-way match for the TNT Championship, that also should have been on Revolution. I don't understand why they want to do the Tornadoes Trio match. That you could have had that on any random episode of Dynamite or Rampage. This match or the other match would have been the pay-per-view matches if you ask me. But that's just totally my opinion. What do you guys think? What match should have been the pay-per-view match for Sammy Guevara? Michael 10159 saying Red Dragon is winning the titles. Rampage is an 8 out of 10. Definitely, I agree, 8 out of 10. But that being said, overall, decent show. Very decent show of Rampage. So now it's time to move on to everyone's favorite Friday night show. Friday night Smackdown. Oh, Steve Callahan also giving Rampage 8 out of 10. Oh, wow. Okay. So, Smackdown, on the other hand, kicked off with an Intercontinental title match. It was Sami Zayn, my bad, too many Sammys, versus Ricochet. This was because last week, Sami Zayn said he was a fighting champion and Ricochet challenged him. Shockingly, SmackDown wasn't as bad as it always is tonight. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Was it fantastic? No, but it was not bad. I will say that right now. There are things that I enjoyed about SmackDown. All right, so I honestly think this was a good way to kick off SmackDown. You had, before I say anything, there were reports that Vince McMahon saw Ricochet as the second baby face behind Drew McIntyre, so he was going to be in for a push. So this match proves that I'm assuming that he's going to start getting a push because Ricochet ended up being victorious in this match. But before that, I have to say there were many near falls in this match. I like the standing moonsault that he did to Sami Zayn, and I also like the backflip moonsault that he did. Those were good spots. And I said this last week, and I said it here on Raw show. I called Johnny Knoxville was going to cost Sami Zayn the IC title, and I was right. Johnny Knoxville cost Sami Zayn his Intercontinental title, and it allowed Ricochet to win. Now, I will say this. I'm actually glad that Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn is not for the IC title. It's just a regular match. Of course, that did not sit well with Sami Zayn, who was upset that he lost his title. Let me see. Vince giving Ricochet a push after this, and watch, he will get tired of him. I give Ricochet 3 weeks to a month before they take the title off of him. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sami Zayn officially challenging Johnny Knoxville to a match at WrestleMania. We all saw that coming. But thank goodness it's not for the IC title. Thank goodness. That match did not need to be for the Intercontinental title. So I'm really, really glad. So then we get a segment. If you guys watched the interview with Vince McMahon on the Pat McAfee show, we found out that Pat McAfee was going to wrestle at WrestleMania. We just didn't know who his opponent was. There were reports saying that it would have been Vince McMahon. But as we found out tonight, Austin Theory came out and he challenged Pat McAfee to a match at WrestleMania. And this does not surprise me because Austin Theory is the Vince McMahon's second chosen one. Let me see. Michael 10159 said they did something right. I'm glad we are not getting Knoxville versus Sammy for the title, but it's still going to be a terrible match. That is true. That is true. I'm really glad that match is not for the title. So I don't know how I feel about that match. Great for Pat McAfee, but really didn't have that much built to this match. But we'll see how it goes. So then after that, we get Naomi versus Carmella. Why? Because Sasha Banks and Naomi called out Carmella and Queen Zelina and challenged them for their tag titles. This match was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it just didn't do it for me. Of course, Naomi was victorious, and next week Sasha Banks is going to wrestle Queen Zelina. Why? I don't know. So before the next match, we had the happy folks playing poker in the back, which to me was very reminiscent of the APA when they would play poker in the back. And it was also reminded me of, I don't know if you guys watch Impact Wrestling, but I watch Impact Wrestling on a weekly basis. And it kind of reminded me of the Swingers Palace segments that they do, or that they used to do before Scott D'Amore shut down Swingers Palace. So I got that vibe. But, and I will say, I did like Madcap Moss's Scottish impression of Drew McIntyre. I thought that was kind of funny. It might have been cringe to some people, but I liked it. So this leads into Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. And I have to say, ever since Veer split from Jinder Mahal and Shanky, poor guy lost his way. He can't find his way to Raw. Michael 10159 says, I don't care for anything on Mania except for Roman versus Lesnar, giving the predictable outcome. Yeah. All right, so this match was okay. It wasn't too bad. Of course, Drew McIntyre won. And he says that he's going to beat up Happy Corbin at WrestleMania. Let me see, WrestleMania, the most stupid night. So I don't know how true this is, but I read reports that Drew McIntyre is injured or was injured. And they gave him this feud to have him take it easy. So if that's the case, I mean, good on them for doing that for Drew McIntyre. It's just that this feud is not that good. You know, I know they're trying, but it's just Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin does not scream WrestleMania to me. That's just any random match you can have that's just a match you can have on a random episode of SmackDown. Match was bad. I feel for McIntyre. Yeah, I do too. And then after that, I don't know why Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs were coming out, but the Usos just ambushed them out of nowhere. So this tells me, well, actually, this kind of leads into what happens later on in the night, but this tells me that Nakamura and Rick Boogs are next in line for the tag titles. After the Usos, if the Usos win or the Viking Raiders win, they're next in line for the tag titles. But anywho, they attack him, and then Roman Reigns comes out. Corbin, McIntyre, and Mania take your bathroom breaks during that. Oh my god. That's great. That's funny, Michael. All right, he says that Michael Cole says something that catches my attention. He says, how will the company change if there's only one champion? So again, are we just getting one title, or is there still going to be two titles? So I don't know. Okay, so apparently there's going to be a live event tomorrow at Madison Square Garden where Roman said he and Lesnar are going to defend their titles. And Roman says he wants Lesnar to walk away with his title because he wants that championship. So is tomorrow like a house show? Is it just a regular house show? Or is this going to be televised? Like, does anybody know anything? Because I haven't heard anything. I think it might just be a house show. So I think we all know where this is going. I pretty sure it doesn't matter who Lesnar defends his title against. He's going to win. Then we had the SmackDown Tag Team title match. It was the Viking Raiders versus the Usos. This wasn't a terrible match, but the Usos retained their titles. And like I said, they attacked Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs earlier in the night, so they're probably their WrestleMania opponents. Bathroom Break Mania. What Bathroom Break Mania is what this year's should be called. Oh my god. You are hilarious, Michael 101. So next we had Big E versus Sheamus. This match, I don't even know how to describe this match because during the match, Kofi Kingston was honking his horn. Rich Holland hit him with the steel chair. Then he started hitting the ATV. Then Sheamus and Rich Holland steal the ATV. Do we even get a conclusion to this match? Like, who won? Like, they literally just take the ATV, go backstage, and destroy it. Do we even... Unless I missed something, I don't believe we got a clear winner. Who won this match? Seriously. Does anybody know? Anybody in the chat know who won? Steve Callahan saying, no, we did not have a winner. It sucked. Oh, really? Okay. So then it just wasn't me. So then in the main event, it's Sonya Deville versus Ronda Rousey. This is Ronda Rousey's SmackDown, in-ring SmackDown debut. Of course, Charlotte Flair is going to be on commentary. I like that Ronda slapped Sonya. I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, Charlotte tried to cause a distraction. And Ronda Rousey won by submission. So that doesn't surprise me at all. It wasn't a bad match. It was an okay match. Of course, we all knew Ronda Rousey was going to win. I mean, come on. Do we really think Sonya Deville stood a chance? Even maybe if Shirley would have actually gotten involved instead of just causing a distraction, maybe. Match was boring. Michael 11591 to SmackDown 4 out of 10. If it wasn't for that Intercontinental title match, this whole episode of SmackDown would have sucked. I really, really liked that Intercontinental title match. That was a really great way to open SmackDown. Hell, you could have even closed SmackDown with that. But I really liked it. I also liked the Austin Theory Pat McAfee segment. SmackDown Tag Team title match was okay too. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. And 6 out of 10, like Steve Callahan. Wasn't a terrible SmackDown. Was it a great SmackDown? No, we are still building towards WrestleMania, but I'm not expecting much a better build. What do I think? What do you guys think was a better show, Rampage or SmackDown? Me personally, I think Rampage was a better show, and I don't want anybody to think that that's me being biased towards AEW. I know this is the second week in a row that I pick Rampage, but I personally felt Rampage was a little bit stronger than SmackDown. Was it as strong as it usually is? No. But it was just a much stronger show. If SmackDown would have been stronger, I would have picked SmackDown. If both shows would have just been equal, I would have said both shows were equal and there was no clear-cut winner. But I think that's Rampage was the better show. Of course, Rampage wins again. All right, you guys know. Well, that'll conclude the review. But you guys know the AEW Revolution is tomorrow. It's not tomorrow, but it is on Sunday. So now I'm gonna do my predictions. Let me get rid of this banner. Yeah, so let me see. Road to 400. Yes, good review. Thank you. If Corbin and Moss wasn't on the show, it would have been the best SmackDown ever. Really? Are you just joking? Let me put my Rampage thing on. Okay. So now we're going to do the AEW Revolution predictions. Alrighty. Let's see. I want to hear your guys' predictions too. So Hook versus QT Marshall. Hook. It's according to this, there's 12 matches. Leila Hurst versus Chris Statlander. That's a little hard for me to call. I'd say Chris Thunder. House of Black versus Death Triangle. And Eric Redbeard. I say Death Triangle and Eric Redbeard. What do you guys think? Being sarcastic about that comment. That's why I said JK. I know. Jay Cardo versus Ty Conti. Jay Cardo. AHFO versus Darby, Sting, and Sammy Guevara in a 6-man tornado tag match. Darby, Allin, Sting, and Sammy Guevara are winning that. Jurassic Express versus Redragon versus the Young Bucks. 3-way tag match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. A Redragon. I see Redragon. John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Oh, this is where things get interesting. I can't call this one. Cargo. Yeah, of course she's winning. I say John Moxley. But you know what? I would not be upset if Bryan Danielson wins. Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. I say Eddie Kingston just because I feel like he needs to win more than Jericho. Keith Lee versus Orange Cassidy versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks versus Wardlow versus Christian Cage. Face of the Revolution ladder match for the TNT Championship. Steve Callahan said Sammy, Sting. You said Sammy twice. Sammy, Sting, Darby, Bryan Danielson, and Jericho. Oh, really? Okay. So the Face of the Revolution ladder match, eh? This one's kind of hard to call too because I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Keith Lee. I think Keith Lee is going to win. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Thunder Rosa. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna pick Thunder Rosa. I think she's gonna take it. But I will say I would not be surprised if Britt Baker wins and then Thunder Rosa gets a rematch at St. Patrick's Day Slam in her hometown of San Antonio, Texas. CM Punk versus MJF. I've said this before. CM Punk doesn't gain anything by beating MJF. MJF needs this win. He needs it. So I pick MJF. Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole Baby for the AEW World Championship. Hangman Adam Page. I think he's going to hand Adam Cole's first official loss because even though he did technically lose to Orange Cassidy, it didn't count because it was a lights out match. So I pick Hangman Adam Page. What about you guys? What are some of your predictions? Definitely would love to hear some of yours. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for your continuous support. Your support has meant a lot to me. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on Rose Montana's channel. If not, I'll see you guys here. So you guys have a great night. Bye.